Bismillahi walhamdulillahi wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillahi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Following in the footsteps of someone would mean you're walking behind them. It would mean you look up to them. It would mean you want to be like them. If you take a careful look, Allah Almighty has decided and chosen to have an eternal miracle for us. The footsteps of a messenger of His, whose sacrifice and dedication and worship was absolutely humongous. If any of you have been to Mecca, right next to the Kaaba, not just the footsteps, but the footprint of Ibrahim alayhi salam is found. It's called Maqam Ibrahim. The footprint or the footprints of Ibrahim. And Allah makes mention of it in the Quran. وَاتَّخِذُوا مِن مَقَامِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ مُصَلَّى. Allah wants you to fulfill prayer at the maqam, behind the footsteps of Ibrahim or the footprint of Ibrahim. In other words, we all have to follow the footsteps of his, not just figuratively, but literally. There are the footsteps. We go in, we see this golden structure that was built later on to preserve those footprints. Why is it there? Why does Allah say, go behind it and fulfill minimum 2 units of prayer immediately after your circumambulation? Because Allah wants you to follow the footsteps of this great prophet of his for a reason. Allah wants you to go behind and to think for a moment, these are footsteps. I'm instructed to be behind them and I'm instructed to follow the footsteps. Yes, there is a mark of the print itself, which makes it even better. Because when I say I'm following in his footsteps, it's figurative. What it means is, there's no physical footprint, but it means I want to follow his lifestyle or something about him or her. But Ibrahim alayhi salam, Allah wants you to do it properly. And if you're able and capable to go for the Hajj, Allah says, وَلِلَّهِ عَلَى النَّاسِ حِجُّ الْبَيْتِ مَنِ اسْتَطَاعَ إِلَيْهِ سَبِيلًا. It is incumbent upon you, for the sake of Allah, to go for the Hajj for those who are able and capable. Incumbent. May Allah make it easy for the Hujjaj, those who have gone, those who are about to go. And may Allah take us to fulfill the Hajj and the Umrah over and over again. But my brothers and sisters, it's important to look at why this is the case. Why is it this particular footprint? Why did Allah keep it? When Allah instructed Ibrahim alayhi salam, every time an instruction came, he did not doubt it, he did not question it, he fulfilled it before anything else. His iman was so solid that the Quran makes mention of a particular point that Allah decided to relay to us so that no one doubts Ibrahim alayhi salam's firm conviction. What is it? Ibrahim alayhi salam, he questioned a lot, but his questioning, Allah confirms, was never because of a doubt in faith, but rather to strengthen the faith even more. Today we tell everyone, it's your duty to question and you must ask questions until you're satisfied. But Allah wants to clarify that in the case of Ibrahim alayhi salam, he was satisfied, but he asked questions in order to reconfirm and to know something he might not know, something greater and higher. For example, وَإِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ رَبِّ أَرِنِي كَيْفَ تُحْيِي الْمَوْتَى. Allah says, remember when Ibrahim alayhi salam asked his Lord, oh my Lord, ask me, how do you resurrect the dead? How do you give life to those who've passed away? So the first thing Allah asks him, وَلَمْ تُؤْمِنْ. Why? Do you not believe? Do you not believe? Why does Allah ask him the question? Because just to confirm for all of us later on that actually it was not out of any question of faith, but it was rather out of knowing something that he did not know. You follow? So I believe you, I trust you, I know everything, but please explain to me, why did you do this? when you explain to me, I will be in a better position to explain to others. I will have something within me that others won't have. So the benefit of the question came to us. So Allah says, أَوَلَمْ تُؤْمِنْ, do you not believe? He says, بَلَا قَالَ بَلَا وَلَكِنْ لِيَطْمَئِنَّ قَلْبِي. He says, indeed I believe. It's not even a question. I firmly believe. But this is only in order to have an extra calmness to my heart. I know more than others. I know how Allah gave the life. Then Allah tells him, okay, I want you to take the birds and do this and do that. The point I'm raising is the conviction of Ibrahim. He built a relationship with Allah. You and I build a relation with Allah. Promise Allah. Whether you're going for the Hajj or not, build a relationship with Allah. You will never go wrong. Allah will leave your footprint way beyond your life. Subhanallah. Ibrahim alayhi salam made a dua that, oh Allah, after I pass away, what about my progeny, my children? Can you keep the deen in them? Can you keep the prophethood in them? Allah says, we will grant them, those who believe and those who don't believe. As for those who believe, it goes beyond into the hereafter. As for those who don't believe, they may achieve pockets of goodness on earth as a result of the goodness they may have done on earth. But in the hereafter, they have no recompense there. They didn't even believe in that. Many people say, well, we don't believe in the hereafter. I'm talking of those who are perhaps atheistic, agnostic, etc., etc. Some categories of those people will tell you, we don't believe there's a hereafter. And then they will tell you, you guys are very harsh. You believe we're all going to hell. And I always say, well, that means you do believe in a hereafter. Why are you so bothered about the fact that we believe people are going to be cast in hellfire when you don't believe? But the question already shows in that case that they have a fear. They have a certain element. There will be probably something in the hereafter. That's why they say it's too harsh. I'd rather not believe. That means you do believe. So don't fool anyone. There is a hereafter. It has to come. Not just the Muslims, but all Semitic faiths and even some that are non-Semitic. They believe in a hereafter. They believe there will be something beyond death. It doesn't just end here. So Allah Almighty tells us very, very clearly that Ibrahim alayhi salam, we left a mark for him. We left a footprint, not just in a figurative way, but physically. When he built the Kaaba in the middle of nowhere, he built a house for Allah by the instruction of Allah. Allah loved it so much because you know what? What was of interest to him was, where did this instruction come from? The minute he knew, it was done. It was done. You know, when you love someone, let's talk even of the love that might not be so permissible, haram love. When they tell you, astaghfirullah, that do this, you say done. Why do you say done? Because you want to impress someone, astaghfirullah. In a haram way, we are prepared. Allah is telling you know what? This is halal, not just halal, but it is the relation with your maker. My brothers and sisters, build that relation. Become a person who prays 5 times a day and enjoys it. Become a person who is truthful and enjoy it. Become a person who is easygoing on those who are difficult and enjoy it because it's for the pleasure of Allah. Where do you get this from? Wallahi, if you study the life of Ibrahim alayhi salam, you will come to realize why the Hajj. Why the Hajj? You'll realize it. Why so much of Ibrahim? Why in every prayer, our prayer is not complete unless we say, Kama sallayta ala Ibrahim, Kama barakta ala Ibrahim. Why do we have to mention Ibrahim in every prayer of ours throughout the day? Because Allah loved him. Go study his life. He was good to those who were bad to him. He walked away in a beautiful way. He engaged people in a lovely discussion. When they threatened him, it did not deter him with his faith. He was also driven out of his own house. He was driven out of his community. He was driven out. He was maltreated. In fact, he was cast into a furnace and a flame. He took it. He says, if it's for Allah, it's worth it. Allah, the owner of the flame, instructed the flame today. For this man, you are going to be a means of his peace. I want to explain what happened. When Allah instructed the fire, قُلْنَا يَا نَارُ كُونِي بَرْدًا وَسَلَامًا عَلَىٰ إِبْرَاهِيمَ. 2 instructions, not 1. Allah says, today you will not burn, but rather you will provide coolness. Allahu Akbar. That's Allah. When I was little, I wanted an explanation as a kid. What's this coolness of the fire? And I was given an example by one of the teachers at the time. He says, let me give you an example of the opposite which I understand. He says, do you know there is something called hot ice? So what is hot ice? Ice at a certain point will burn you. Allahu Akbar. Have you ever thought of it? And it's true. So he says, if ice can burn you at a point, then fire at a point will also be a means of coolness by the power of Allah. Whether man has looked into it or not is irrelevant. It's besides the point. It does happen. It will happen. It happened before only by the instruction of Allah. So the first instruction was, be a source of coolness. Do you know what the second instruction was? Salaman. Be a means of peace to Ibrahim. The narration mentions that he was shackled and thrown in, shackled. So a means of peace would mean burn the shackles. Wow. So when he came out and emerged from that furnace or the fire, he walked out as though nothing had happened. He was intact in terms of clothing, but in terms of whatever they used to tie him, that was all burnt away. That was all burnt away. So the fire was not only a means of coolness, but the fire actually released him, which means when you sacrifice for Allah and you know that you have sacrificed and life is tough, guess what will happen? And I address those who have reverted to Islam as well. Your family members may want to drive you away, your father, your mother, whoever it may be. They drove Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam away, and he's a better person than you and I. No comparison. You think it's not going to happen to you and I for saying the right thing, for doing the right thing? May Allah Almighty strengthen us. Don't worry. If you have to endure for the sake of Allah, you will only endure for as long as you're alive on earth. In fact, Allah says, even on earth, there will actually come a time when we will turn the tables. How many people had a sad day and then the next day is a happy day, or a sad season and a year or two later they are in a place where they didn't imagine they would be. Who was that? It's happened to me. I'm sure it's happened to all of us. We've gone through hardship thinking we're never going to come out of it. Where are you today? Smile and thank Allah. Oh Allah, I can't believe I had such a tough time before. Oh Allah, you took me out of it. You're going to take me out again and again and again. That's Allah. So trust Allah. So Allah tells Ibrahim alayhi salam, do you know what? We love you so much that we have now taken you as the closest level of friendship. You're considered a friend. وَاتَّخَذَ اللَّهُ إِبْرَاهِيمَ خَلِيلًا. Allah has taken Ibrahim as a Khalil.